So today I was taking a look at an Instagram story of an influencer which I follow, whom I follow. What is the right way to say it? She's from Russia and she does business. And basically she was posting in her stories about her trip in Mexico. I believe like she came for holiday and perhaps also business aside, but nonetheless she was willing to have like a meet and greet with her followers. So therefore she like advise people, from previous days. And upon her telling in the stories is that 700 people apply to be on the meeting, like just followers, randomly, like just me or someone else of Mexico. This meeting was taking place in Mexico City, Ciudad de Mexico. So basically you had to be in that city or else travel there, right? Because Mexico, it's a very big country, and of course we are also located in other cities, but she was just having the meet and greet in Mexico City. So supposedly 700 of her followers, Mexican followers, or perhaps also foreigners living in Mexico City, applied to be there. And she was just willing to take in 30 people, 30. And the thing is, like, she confirmed and sent the email to the ones that were accepted. But the thing is, like, once the event took place, she reserved a restaurant and they had a big table of 30 spots. Just 15 people appeared, and she was very upset about it because she couldn't get the fact, like, how could just half of the people make it to the meeting when like a lot of others wanted to attend, but they couldn't because of she giving the places to these ones, right? And these ones didn't have even the courtesy to even cancel or let her know in advance. So for her to give these places to someone else, she was just going crazy about the thought of having these manners. She was writing in the stories that this is just super unrespectful for her. Like these other 15 non-attendant followers were so unrespectful to her because of not having any word of like canceling the meeting or the reasons why they couldn't attend the meeting. And also she regrets because there were another, how many? 600 plus followers wanting to really attend the meeting. But who knows, yeah, like if 30 were selected and out of 30 just half of it made it. Yeah. So basically in this video what I want to share with you is that if you have ever been to Mexico, or if you have any Mexican relation with, friends, colleagues, like somehow have seen Mexican culture channels or been doing business with Mexican people, men or women, doesn't matter. This is something quite common. And yeah, it might be for you something that appears to be super unrespectful, super not formal, not serious, not trustworthy from someone that you want to have a meeting with or someone that you want to make business with. You will be very disappointed, very discouraged, very just how to say, you perhaps couldn't trust anymore this someone if that person couldn't make it to the meeting and didn't even get the chance or the time to let you know the reasons, right? Or even to apologize for it. Because no matter the reasons, you are not coming, and at least you need to apologize for that person that is waiting for you there, that already reserved a place for you to have a meal, especially if this influencer she's not based in Russia, but she's from Russia. I believe she's living in New York or somewhere around Europe and USA, but nonetheless, she doesn't come often to Mexico. It was like a big opportunity for these followers to learn from her about like her social media skills and so on. So basically, she was very mad at the fact that this happened, and she was just talking about how bad Mexican culture is in regards to these aspects of not making it on time, and also not even making it. She also pointed out that the first reservation of the restaurant that she had previously thought of, the one that she wanted, couldn't make the setup on time, but they didn't even let her know. So just for your record, usually if you go to eat to restaurants here in Mexico, usually some of them are very full, and you do need to have a reservation nowadays, because restaurants are used like a meeting point, and having a meal with a partner, someone you want to make business with, or just like a casual friend, it's very common. So yeah, it's very important to let you know that our main meal of the day is midday, like from 2 to 4 p.m. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Not like China, whereas usually people will not meet for lunch. I mean, usually it can happen, but the most common denominator is that they will let you meet for dinner because it's more comfortable, since they are off work and the sales staff can treat you to like big dinner, do not have any rush on the time clock, like, oh, we have to finish at whatever time because I still have half of the day left to go back to office, as well as they can let you go. They can also treat you for other delicacies like spa, food spa, massage, KTV, girls, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm talking about. So in China, usually these nightlife entertainments focused for the business people are happening after dinner or during dinner, like 6 p.m. onwards. So they will ask you to meet 6 p.m., 7 p.m., or even 5 p.m. In Mexico, it's not the case. Usually, if you go, we have the main meal here from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., so people will meet 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Some will let you also know that you can have dinner together, but dinner here is not that common. Some people do not have even dinner, not like in China, that is the biggest meal of the day. And after dinner, it's hard to tell if we have more entertainment. Usually just bars or clubs having a cocktail. Here, mixology is very hype now, but it's not it's not as common as in China. Anyhow, the delay thing, it's also very common here. If you get someone, let's say, let's meet at 2, I can still arrive to 10, to 15, and it's going to be okay. Maybe 2:20, it's a little bit too much of a stretch. But if I arrive to 2:05, 2:10, 2:15, still consider 2 for us. I know that for many of you guys know, especially in the Asian culture, in China, it's like you agreed to meet at 2 p.m., and the Chinese guy is already waiting at 1:50 or 1:40 already in the restaurant entrance, and you will arrive at 2:15, so he has to wait for like half an hour. This is quite common, so for you to not have a cultural shock in regards to the time delay, usually people have this window span of like 5, 10, 15 minutes. As I'm telling you, maybe 15 minutes is a little bit, no, 20 minutes is a little bit too much because it's almost half an hour. And also, it's very common that people will be like, I'm coming. And you are thinking he's 5 minutes from the place, from the venue. No, still like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So some people are very deceiving in this regard, because I myself do not like this, but they will text you or let you know, like, I'm coming, just 5 minutes. They'll be like this, like seriously, they will just precisely tell you 5 minutes, and you're thinking it's 5 minutes, but it's not literally 5 minutes. So how much is 5 minutes in Mexican idiosyncrasy? I don't know. It depends on each individual. I wouldn't dare to say, wait for me 5 minutes if I'm really not taking 5 minutes. Well, for a Mexican, I will not mind telling her, I'm, let's say, nails or whatever appointment, I'm gonna be there 5 minutes after, and maybe I will take 10, it's okay. But I wouldn't dare to tell a foreigner that, because I know that foreigners, especially Asians, will take that more literally or precisely, and they will be very upset whenever they take a look at the watch and it's already 15 minutes gone or 20 minutes gone by and you still didn't make it. So they will lose this trust on you, because from the very beginning, even before the meeting is happening, you are already lying, or you are already not committing, not fully committed, not enough committed to this meeting, not respecting their time, just like this girl said. Like, they were not respecting her. She comes from abroad, they didn't cancel, and also she couldn't like replace their places with other followers that were willing to appear, right? So this is the same for all foreigners. Some people come from abroad, and also it's a very, 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 very big issue to have meetings in Mexico City, as the city is super huge and it's super crowded with people and traffic. So usually I have some friends that if they have a meeting at 2 p.m., you have to leave your place at 12, because you have to take in account like these 2 hours in order to make it on time. Of course, it depends of where are you based, but usually you have to prepare very well in advance. 2-3 hours just to make it to one place. So let me know in the comments if this ever happened to you, this kind of experiences. I'm sure that if you travel to Mexico, or if you are having some Mexican friends, Mexican colleagues, or Mexican business partners, you might have experienced or will experience this issue. I will advise you to not be discouraged about this. This can't actually define the business collaboration or the success of the project. It's part of the culture. I'm not excusing in any regard that this is normal or that this is what it is. But yeah, maybe it is what it is. Usually, or nowadays, some young ones are kind of sticking to the clock more precisely in order to avoid these delays, because it's not very well seen among foreigners. But some very big business bosses and people in general have these bad habits that you will consider, but are still great partners to be with. So I guess it's something for you to consider, on whereas you are willing to forgive that and still get a collab, friendship, partnership with that person, or you are very straightforward and very precise on time, very accurate, very punctual, and you are not willing to, wait for that Mexican person and just can look for another supplier or for another partner. It can be also the case. Let me know which are your experiences and whether or not it's a problem for you to pass this by like unseen, like, okay, whatever, is their culture. Yeah, the time delay, and to not even mention the not appearing to the appointment, is just like no comments. That is just not acceptable for me, of course. But I guess in this case of the story of this Russian girl, because they didn't see it like as a something, how to say, very formal event. It was like, oh, it's just a meet and greet, so whatever, if I go, if I don't go. I believe they didn't pay for this, because if they have paid for this, first of all, she wouldn't have been mad at them, because anyhow she collected the payment, so they paid for their entrance, so no matter what happened, it's on their side to go or not go, but she had the money already at hand. But I believe if she had charged for it, not many could have done so, like could have just let her waiting without any apology or texting the reason of their themselves not coming to the meeting. So lesson learned is, yeah, you might have incentive as for these Mexican people to have some pain in order to avoid delaying the appointment or avoid not even coming to the appointment and not apologizing for it. What do you guys think about it?